yesterday. Gonna admit, not the best showing for Ketramose. Today, though, hopefully better. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher, aka ThrabenU, here for a bounty challenge. And this was actually something that was issued to me quite some time ago, but once I saw this card spoiled, I wanted to wait until Aetherdrift. So, the bounty challenge was essentially play a deck that has Rest in Peace in the main deck as a 4 of. And there were some other ideas sent there, but the general idea was, what is the deck we can play that just plays Rest in Peace in the main deck? How do we do disgusting things with that? And Skylar sent this bounty challenge, and their original idea was to be some sort of like Chrome Mox enchantment stompy deck with like Rest in Peace and Back to Basics and that sort of stuff. And then Ketramose was spoiled. So, Ketramose can't attack or block unless there are 7 or more cards in exile. And whenever 1 or more cards are put into exile from graveyards and or the battlefield during your turn, you draw a card and lose a life. But what if every card is just going to exile? Then that more or less just makes this a 4/4 lifelink, menace, indestructible god. Sounds good. And if we draw a bunch of cards off of it afterwards, that's even better. And I would like to give a shout out to the folks in my Discord for helping to put this list together. I was kind of running into a wall about how to have more copies of Helm of Obedience, and they suggested Beseech the Mirror, which I had just totally had a brain fart on. So, our goal today is to send a large number of cards to exile. And that can be through exile-based removal, like Swords to Plowshares or Path to Exile, or that can be through the Rest in Peace, Leyline of the Void, Dauthi Voidwalker style cards that just redirect cards to exile directly. So yesterday, Ketramose, when it was popping off, was very strong. But the problem was that a lot of times it was not popping off, and we couldn't quite fully like nuke the graveyards or get things going. And sometimes we had a 4/4 Menace Lifelink Indestructible in play, twiddling its thumbs for a couple of turns before something cool happened. And hopefully running main deck Rip and Dauthi Voidwalker and 6 exile spells is going to be enough to just kind of get us over the hump in terms of turning that on. Most of the sideboard here is anti-combo, rationalizing that our deck is going to be okay versus fair stuff in game 1, especially if it is graveyard oriented. We have a lot of value built into the deck list with cards like Urza's Saga making us lots of tokens, and Ketramose, hopefully, just drawing us card after card after card. Solitude was something that I strongly considered for this deck. I think it fits the bill for the sort of things this deck wants to do, but in running the numbers, the list was just very black with like Beseeches and Dauthis and all of this early game stuff here, and I didn't really think that Solitude was going to be consistent, so I'm just running a couple of paths and a few more token producers for Beseech the Mirror purposes. So, let's see if we can helm out some people. This is a bounty challenge, so there is some money on the line. If I 4-1, I get 50 bucks, and if I 5-0, I get 100 smackaroos. So, let's try to pay for some of my MagicCon Chicago expenses, huh? But like honestly, I'm really just excited to like see if Ketramose is the real deal. In the purposes of Legacy, it's already proven itself in other formats. But if you need your copies of Ketramose or anything else from Aetherdrift, please consider shopping at my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. They are my favorite place to shop. I literally have an envelope that I just received from them from my mailbox right now. Promo code ThrabenU will save you 5% on your order, and you always get free shipping. You can expedite that shipping even if you feel like you need your cards in a rush for a big tournament. All right, let's battle. Hey, Phil from the future here. 2 things that I want to say. Number 1, if you're going to play this deck, please put a Surveil Land into the mana base. I thought I had one. I was kind of distracted. I had a thing going on right before I recorded this league, and it had a lot of my attention. So put a Surveil Land in here if you're going to play this. Thing number 2, I apologize if I seem a little distracted at a couple of points during this league. There's one point where I get, a little confused about what's going to happen with a Rest in Peace that I would not have been if I wasn't thinking about something else. Don't worry, everything's good, but I just want to give you the heads up. All right, enjoy the show. Well, this is a weird one. I think it's a keep. It's a very strange hand. So it's turn 1 Vault, Thoughtseize, punch a hole, turn 2 Urza Saga Dark Ritual, put Helm into play to grow Urza Saga tokens, and then go from there. Is it Vault on 1? It might be just Mire on 1. Some people have been getting saucy recently and playing Stifles again. I don't know, I guess I'm a 2-color deck and that might need to be a scrub later on in the game. Alright, it is Vault. Alright, my opponent either tanked a long time on their opening hand, or they had to answer the door because someone delivered pizza. Hard to say. Once upon a time, getting Sowing Mycospawn, which is going to be real good against what I am doing here. Yeah, I think I'm just taking Sowing Mycospawn here. My Urza's Saga fair stuff should probably beat a pair of it that heralds the end. My opponent showed me Blast Zone, even though I did not know about that card. So, Saga, Dark Ritual, Helm in play. As early as next turn, I could combo kill if I draw a Douthie Voidwalker or anything of that nature. So the It That Heralds the Ends are now growing each other. I'm going to take some initial damage here before I stabilize. That is Beseech the Mirror. Not currently castable. Don't have triple black, nor can I have triple black next turn. Oh, hello, Mr. Percy. You have put your paws up on the desk. Was probably a touch off camera, but he was being very cute. So I can make a 2/2 as of right now. There's land drop. Hello again, Mr. Percy. I am recording though, bud. I can't give you my full attention right now. That is a Thought-Knot Seer. That gets to take my Beseech. The Thought-Knot Seer is big. That has a real chance of running me over here. Just doing a casual Ketramose check. We are... Oh, excuse me. This is a 3/3. I have an artifact land here. Is it worth it for me to take 6? So 3/3, 4/4s, 5/5s-ish. I can buff 1 with equipment to potentially be trading with Thought-Knot Seer. Yeah, I think I will just take 6 here. Go to 8. Make my Deuter. Just drawing a combo piece here to finish off this game would be cool. But I think we can outfare our opponent as long as they don't start drawing 7-drop Eldrazi creatures. Oh, Mr. Percy has gotten up on the thing right here. There he is. My beloved cat. And Mr. Popo is on the ground, being a slacker. That is unfortunately just a basic plains. So 4/4, 5/5, land drop, equip, 6/5. We are not the beatdown here. We are just waiting to outscale my opponent or otherwise combo kill them. And I think trading for the Thought-Knots here would be a net positive for me. We have Eye of Ugin on the horizon as something that we could have to worry about. Ooh, opponent could Blast Zone the Lava Spur Boots. That's actually pretty darn good. This still trades a creature for Thought-Knot Seer, so that does not change anything for me. Yeah, that does not change anything for me. So my opponent gets to assign 4 damage and 2 damage, but then I'll still have 3 artifacts, so my other construct is living. Alright, there is Douthie Voidwalker, so that is the game. So we go land drop, Douthie Voidwalker, activate Helm targeting you. Easy. No Ketramose appearance, though. My opponent did show me their entire deck, which I am thankful for. Oh, I'm getting incredibly relevant information here. Holy shit, they should have conceded. So, my opponent has red. We've got Eldrazi Linebreaker in the mirror, which is not something that I would have been playing around, and it is in multiples. So, my opponent also has Null Drifter. Yeah, no, this was some tasty information. Oh, is that my house? Not my house. Somebody else got a package. Okay, so we know that there are red hasty creatures to be dealt with. My sideboard here has White Orchid Phantom specifically for this matchup. My Thoughtseizes are something that can eat it to Chalice of the Void. So the question here is my opponent going to have Chalice of the Void for the post-sideboard games? I might hedge against them being on the play with Chalice by boarding out some number of Thoughtseizes here, and then play either one Thoughtseize or one Hymn. I could go down Ghost Vacuum as well. Ghost Vacuum is a way to get cards into exile to turn this into the Menace Lifelink Indestructible thing of my dreams. Accordingly, I think I am just going to keep it. All right. We have a White Orchid Phantom, which is better on the play than on the draw. We have Rip and Helm. I think I am going to keep this one. That is Ancient Tomb Pass. Path to Exile is great. I'm going to play Marsh Flats. If my opponent gets an Eldrazi going, I can path immediately. Well, I wanted to Surveil land. Now I am not going to Surveil land. I am going to lose a land to that Wasteland, though, no matter what. That's just happening. Oh, now it's not. As long as I am willing to get white-white and make Beseech the Mirror worse. I cannot get white-white. Don't have 2 basic planes. Alright, in which case I am just getting double scrub land, and I should have saved this fetch for next turn. We're just going to try to slow our opponent down. My opponent probably has a land. Yeah, so we have reduced their mana by 1 here, which is still perfectly fine and meaningful. That is objectively a mistake to do. So if you have a wasteland, you should be waiting for your own turn to do that so that you can make your turns with the highest amount of information possible in terms of decisions. I don't think I need Path Up immediately. I'm going to put this into play. Opponent's at 18. Yavimaya and pass. Sure. I want to go ahead and send in here. I am not interested in playing Urza's Saga immediately. I am going to just get Rip in play and work towards Helm as being a kill. I'm guessing next turn is when my opponent starts doing cool, scary things. Ooh, it is Glaring Fleshraker. You got it. There is a Beseech. Again, I think I am just trying to cast this 4-drop here. So even though I could do cool Urza Saga beatdown things, I think I'm just getting this out of the way. There could be a basic forest here as well. There is not. Send in for 2. Lotus Petal. This is the 4th mana that has been probably holding back my opponent from doing something cool. I'm hoping it's not Sowing Mycospawn specifically. Like, the Wastelands are very, very good against my attempt to get to 4 mana to Helm of Obedience. Okay, it is for Eye of Ugin. My opponent simply needs more mana. Well, bad news, opponent. You're dead. Dark Ritual. Helm. Activate Helm. Alright. Ketramose did not make an appearance. I never drew one, but the core of the deck is totally fine. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, and I could say all sorts of great things about them, but I'm just going to point to this number. I have 488 deck lists stored on this site. That should give you a feel for how I feel about this website. And if you were to go to my profile, you could see all the deck lists that I'm messing around with, including my EDH decks, and you can even see some of the deck lists I record with before they hit the channel. Ooh. Okay, so another weird hand. Assuming I draw a mana, I have both parts of my A plus B combo. I have a Thoughtseize and a Dauthi Voidwalker that might just be absorbing removal. I am not sure that this hand is actually great. I also just do not have white mana. So not only am I looking for more mana, I am also specifically looking for colored mana for any future cards that I draw. I think I'm just going to ship this one. Sketchy 6. It would be pitching Beseech the Mirror. It still has the mana amount problem of the previous hand, but now does not have an A plus B. Double Thoughtseize can bully a combo deck. I am going to keep this hand and hope that Thoughtseize plus Bowmasters puts my opponent in a bad spot. Like, I might cast this Thoughtseize, and it might be clear that we have just lost this game, though. Yeah, this is not great. This Wasteland is horrifying. After I've already mulliganed, I am going to take my opponent's Bowmaster here. So now my opponent is presumably going to Thoughtseize me, and presumably take my Bowmaster on top of that. Beseech is a bad draw here. We are in trouble. Oh god. Yeah, I guess we don't want that happening. My opponent is some sort of Esper Reanimator deck. the reanimation aspect might be kind of light, and my opponent might be intending to value reanimate a lot of the time. Just like planning on playing like Strix, Fatal Push, Bowmaster sort of stuff most games. And then occasionally having an oops, I win, Archon of Cruelty attracts a button. We've got to ponder. So my opponent is not wastelanding me, which I am very thankful for. I am not sure why. They might be specifically trying to save that card for Urza's Saga. I have a shit ton of 4-drops in my deck. That may or may not be immediately obvious to my opponent, though. But like even just drawing a Ketramose here, for example, is fine. Alright, so they are just trying to play Brainstorm around Bowmaster to the best of their ability. If you're going to do that, you should also fetch now to play around Opposition Agent. Alright, play Urza's Saga, which maybe ends up eating a Wasteland. What am I getting if I bargain right now? Rest in peace? Honestly, maybe rest in peace. Oh, I have to tap that for black. Hold up. Cast with bargain. And I think I just get rid of Lava Spur Boots. Okay, it's happening. I think since we know that my opponent is specifically Reanimator, or at least has a Reanimator finish, I think I am just going to go ahead and rest in peace here. Alright, graveyards are nuked. I don't have to worry about getting Oops Entombed Reanimated anymore. And if I draw a Ketramose, it will be live. Opponent said, would not have guessed that in a million years. That is in fact why I did it. Okay, yeah, there's Fatal Push, so my gut instincts that this was going to be like an Esper control-y mid-rangey sort of deck that had a combo finish was reasonable. Dark Ritual is not what I am looking for. We've just gotta have faith in the top of the deck at this point. It is unclear to me how many of my opponent's threats I'm shutting off. Like, I don't know how much, like, Murktide, Uro stuff is there. I don't know if there's, like, a secondary up the Beanstalk engine or something. We'll find out. Solidly in bug colors. Ooh. Get wrecked. Yeah, these like Rips, Ley Lines, Douthie Voidwalkers are probably going to do some serious damage to my opponent in terms of their ability to keep up with me. Boo! Boo! I take some damage there. I eat one to Strix, and then Strix will eventually like eat one of my Urza Saga tokens. Bloodstained Mire, not super good here. Another land drop. The opponent is attacking rather than holding that back to absorb an Urza Saga hit. So they have at least one removal spell, which is not surprising here. Does this deck not have a Surveil land, or is it already in exile? Really? Oh, it was in the other draft of this exact same deck. Oops. Beseech the Mirror. With mana to cast it at that. I will pick up Ghost Vacuum. I'm going to go ahead and go to combat and swing in for 5 and see what happens. Varying levels of bad can happen here. Alright, that is a Fatal Push on 1. I successfully get in for 4. Now we're going, well, I guess I shouldn't tap the second one yet. Let's go ahead and Dark Ritual. Now I'm going to go ahead and Beseech the Mirror. I think I bargain away a land here. It does shrink my Construct token. We are going to put Ketramose in play. It'd be damn difficult for my opponent to answer. Nice. So now, let's go ahead and junk a card from a graveyard. Ooh. That's actually incredibly bad. That's incredibly bad. Because I draw a card here. Now this card loses me a life, and then triggers Bowmasters in return. Rough. Oh, Popo is now up on the stand over there. At least I did draw Path for Bowmaster, so hopefully I just make it back to my turn, junk this, gain a bunch of life off my attack triggers, and everything is fine. Oh, come on! Come on! This is bullshit. Ah. I hate it. I hate it so much. We try to draw the card and we get like double punished. So now I can path any one thing here, but the rest kills me. That is very disappointing. So we care about value. So Thought Seizes can probably become Hymn to Torox for the 2-for-1. I don't want Deafening Silence. These are playable cards, but I don't really know that I want to cut anything else from here. The ley lines are okay. Like if I played Leyline, I would be probably getting rid of Hymn to Turok and just focus on not letting my opponent have a graveyard at all and being better at Helm comboing. I think I am just going to submit like this. I don't think I'm going to bring ley lines. I think there's a decent chance that my opponent's Reanimator style stuff comes out of the deck for this game. My hand is okay. I think it's fine to keep. It's unexciting. I wish I had noticed that there wasn't a Surveil land in this deck, though. That's on me. I had 3 or 4 different versions of this queued up trying to tune it. Note here that I am trying to hold up Bowmaster for an opposing cantrip, which is why I'm not Ghost Vacuuming immediately. Ooh, nice. I think, play this game on non-basics. I think the triple black pips of multiple Beseech the Mirrors requires fetching the non-basics here. Basic Swamp for my opponent, and a Thoughtseize. I don't love that. That's probably resolving. I think it takes my Dark Ritual. Okay, it is in fact the Dark Ritual that is taken, and now there is a Tamiyo in play. I'm fine just vacuuming my opponent's graveyard immediately. Force a Will check time? Probably. Grab a Scrubland. Cast Dark Ritual. Oh, I can't do a Force a Will check for Ketramose, because I don't have an extra artifact. I need this one. So we are instead doing double Bowmaster and hoping that is good. So ping, Bowmaster, ping. Yeah, so these Beseeches are slightly awkward in that they're not exactly getting good standalone cards. They are meant to be extra copies of combo pieces. One Shouldered seems like it would go a long way in this deck. Sure. Alright, so my opponent is just going to hold back defensively. That's fine. Well, now I have a bonus token. Would I be willing to trade a Bowmaster or an Insect token? Not really. So I'm going to send in at Grist here for 2, which my opponent will do that on. Then I will Dark Ritual. Now I will Beseech with Bargain, sacrificing this Orc. Nice. So now I will Ketramose and cast it, and it is indestructible, so Grist Minus is not fucking with that. So now I will Ghost Vacuum a card out of my own graveyard to start doing Ketramose things. Very nice. Hey, there's a Helm. It's not quite good yet. So Ketramose can't quite attack or block yet. We have 5 in exile. I am not blocking that then. I will just take that. My opponent gets their clue safely. Now they're going to take out a Bowmaster. We'll see what follows up. It is a Goyf. It is a 4/5 Goyf. So sorcery is something that I can easily eat from graveyard here. That will be 6 in exile. Draw a card, lose a life. Nice. So yeah. Keep getting scrubs. Do rest in peace. Alright, so I'm exiling a bunch of cards. Ketramose reads 1 or more, so this is only going to be 1 card here. So now I will go ahead and go to combat. Let's finish off the Grist over there. I'm going to hold back Bowmaster in case something weird happens, you know, some 1-mana answer to Rest in Peace that then grows this. I don't want to lose this Bowmaster in combat. Okay, so my opponent fetches, meaning that I get to draw another card, since that is another instance of things going to graveyard. So my opponent should have fetched with Rest in Peace on the stack. Brand new card literally became available on Magic Online yesterday. So, Menace. Again, brand new card. Alright, so Grist dies, goes to exile. I now have a path to exile here as well. We just yeeting Tamiyo? I think I'm gonna let my opponent cast some spells pre-combat, and maybe, like, I want to answer this instead. Oh fuck, it's on my turn. It's on my turn. No, I should have just done it. I gave up value. Brand new card works both ways. But this is a time where I might actually want to wait to see if my opponent has some sort of Assassin's Trophy type card for this. That is a Dismember. You've got it. So now that this Tamiyo is their source of card advantage, I'm going to go ahead and path that. This keeps them from getting another mana immediately. Pernicious Deed. Not having one extra mana here is a really big deal on multiple different levels. Ketramose is indestructible. Bargain? Actually, I guess I could attack for 1 and then bargain away Bowmasters. I could bargain away Ghost Vacuum and keep Bowmasters around to be annoying. Make sure this resolves first, I guess. So, junk Ghost Vacuum is no longer doing anything. Get a new Ketramose and cast it. I can't put anything else into my graveyard on my own turn here. Send in for 1 before I probably lose Bowmaster. Opponent's at 10. I guess if my opponent is going to crack Deed, it should probably happen on their own turn. Deed will blow up their clue, but if they crack their clue, I can Bowmaster their Goyf. So if they sacrifice Deed, that will be in exile. My Rest in Peace will go to graveyard? I guess putting a damage on Goyf commits them to blowing up more than leaving that there does. I think I'm going to mark the damage here. Assuming that I am hitting in batches of 8, the difference between 8 and 9 is not super relevant. Oh, right, no, sorry, it's Rest in Peace, so all of that stuff is going to exile. So that was just objectively the correct play. It's a very fast Ponder Shuffle. I've got Helms for days. Ooh, and Urza Saga. So send it. Opponent is at 5. Drop Saga. Throw out Helm. Pass. I could Helm them naturally, just trying to get something like this. But they potentially have some amount of Reanimator type stuff in their deck still. And hitting something low EV like a Baleful Strix is not the best. Sure. You can get a Wasteland there. Stopping that Urza Saga is a big deal. But I imagine happens immediately. It does. You're going to make me sacrifice an artifact, huh? I will Helm you in response. See if that produces lethal. Does not. Okay. I mean, I am still swinging in for 4 points of damage in a way that is difficult, but not impossible for my opponent to answer or otherwise stop. They are at 1. I will drop a Helm. Alright, so we win this one. We didn't see reanimation type stuff here. I could do something like White Orchid Phantom instead of Hymn to Torok. That would be, I think, perfectly reasonable to do, to just attempt to make my opponent's mana worse. Him is better at clearing the way for my combo finish, though. I think I am going to keep things as is. Grindy game. Fun, though. Alright, Misty into a Tamiyo, which I do not have an immediate answer for. I have some redundancy in my combo here, which is great. Again, Surveil Land would be really strong here, but I just don't have one. So now Tamiyo gets to start racking up clues I do not have immediate answers for. Verdant and pass. That's fine. Opponent is fetching in my upkeep. Just crack a clue before I can throw down a Bowmaster. That's fine. So him is a little less good while Tamiyo is in play. My opponent seems to be afraid of Bowmaster. It probably means that they don't have immediate counterspell. Do I have any non-Marsh Flats fetched lands? I have Bloodstained Mires, which will still have targets. Okay, so it's fine to do this. I think I am just going to sorcery speed a Bowmaster here and make it more awkward for my opponent to draw stuff. There's some potential sorcery speed removal in my opponent's deck that might make doing this at this speed less good. But I would not mind something like a Witherbloom command getting fired off on Bowmaster rather than on, you know, something like Rest in Peace. Ooh. Oh, Magic's hard. This is getting saved until I can do this in all likelihood. Although there's definitely some desire to just, like, Dauthi Voidwalker him to Torok immediately. Yeah, what if we don't just try to win as quickly as possible. I think I am into it in this order. This results in more cards potentially going to exile immediately. I think Rest in Peace is my premium card that I am waiting on. Goldred's Edict in response. My opponent really does not like this Bowmaster. So now we'll hymn my opponent, try to send some fun things to exile. Okay, I mean, the hymn is successful in that it takes 2 cards. This means that Force of Will is not there for Helm of Obedience. Pretty big deal. My opponent can keep getting tokens, clue tokens. I'm hoping that they like tap out for a Goyf and then I slam Rest in Peace. Yep. The Planeswalker side of that is significantly less scary if my opponent's graveyard is gone. The Tamiyo comes back, Tamiyo pluses, and just cracking a clue around a Bowmaster, that's fine. Ooh, and there's more. Bayou and pass, sure. Aww. I can deal 2 damage to Tamiyo immediately, assuming no Fatal Push happens. Dauthi Voidwalker currently represents Force of Will, so whatever I do, I probably want to do it pre-combat. But I'm always playing this land drop. I think I just want to play Rest in Peace, despite the fact that this is my least mana-efficient play. Alright. So this, unfortunately, is not going to exile with a Void counter on it due to the interaction with Rest in Peace. But I'm just attacking Tamiyo for 2 here. The Orc Army token attack is not doing anything. A Dismember. You've got it. So now I am just hoping that I am working towards a Helm of Obedience kill by drawing a land. And if not, I just start doing this, which hopefully outpaces Tamiyo. We don't have Force of Will protection anymore, so we'll see how this shakes out. My opponent gets to draw most of their library. Obviously real bad for me, but again, hopefully they just fucking die. Well, here we go. Here's the attempt. 4 cards in hand. Yeah, that's rough. Opponent had multiple Force of Wills there. So that is likely meaning that I'm dead. Opponent can get a clue here. Delta and fetch. Surveilling. It'd be a great time to like draw a Bowmaster so I can do something that pokes Tamiyo. Or like Lava Spur Boots. Don't have Prismatic Ending. I opted for Path in those slots instead. Got a Pithing Needle for Lava Spur Boots because I thought they would be better. Pithing Needle would be great specifically here. There's cracking a clue and Ponder. Probably tapping the wrong land. So my opponent kills their own Tamiyo. Not likely to matter too much. I mean, that's literally what I asked for. I think since Bowmaster is more important, I do Bowmaster second here. So we will Ketramose. This is card. Yeah, this is card. So bam. The ping for 1 here is so incredibly important. So not only is that keeping Tamiyo from ultimating, but it's also meaning that my Orc Army token can now attack, and Ketramose can also attack next turn. We are also getting to the point where either one of us could reasonably time out if we continue to like a 12-turn game or something. There's been a little bit of lag on both sides of the battlefield here. All right, so there is a Bowmaster trigger, which I'm just going to use on Strix, honestly. That has a very similar effect to pinging the Tamiyo directly. Owlstorm is too. Yep. Opponent's digging. They're trying their damnedest over there. But I now have a giant Orc Army token. That technically has text, because I can Legend Rule that to just draw another card. But I think I attack in first. Attack Tamiyo. Attack Tamiyo. We don't want to see Bowmaster, which produces 2 different bodies here. Nice, and we don't. So I can cycle this card to draw another card here. I think I'm just going to hold it. Sure. So that draws me another card since they did that on my turn. That's great for me. So now I have a backup for my god. I have Path to Exile for some creature that's trying to fuck me up. If my opponent cantrips a couple of times, I can just go for their face for lethal damage here. I did not have it last turn because of the Tamiyo emblem, just FYI. We've won both of these so far. We are on track for that bounty. Alright, we are very clearly playing an Urza Saga beatdown hand here. We are going to be weak to a pile of Wastelands out of something like an Eldrazi deck or Maverick deck. Ooh, we comboing over there? I am not prepared to beat combo with this hand as it currently stands. Just not racing that. Now, if my opponent is show and tell specifically, we might be able to like do some lol hilarious stuff with Helm of Obedience and accidentally get an Emrakul and steal a win. But if our opponent is more like spell-based combo, trying to end the game with, you know, a Thassa's Oracle or a bunch of Storm cards or something, we are ill prepared to deal with that. And that's what the pile of deafening silences in the sideboard would be for. Alright, we are chilling. I cannot currently cast Rest in Peace. It is unclear whether or not Rest in Peace would be good currently. I don't have Orcish Bowmasters to punish on this hand. Let's see what this Misty gets. Okay, we are looking like show and tell here. Hopefully not sneak attack. I don't have white mana to remove something like an Atraxa or Archon of Cruelty. What did I just say? What did I just say? This is obviously quite unfortunate. Yeah. Alright, 10 cards revealed. That is Force of Will backup for an Emrakul next turn. I no longer have the game 1 Pithing Needle for sneak attack because I put these Lava Spur Boots in. So if I'm always dead to an Emrakul attack next turn, I think I will just concede here and not show my opponent any more cards. There's no draw that lets me assemble Rest in Peace Helm, right? Let me think of that first. Oh, not through Force of Will backup, of course not. Yeah. So I would like him to Turok here. Deafening Silence is not actually particularly good. It's nice if my opponent does Omniscience stuff, but I don't know that it's going to be worth a card. What am I going down on here? I think Ghost Vacuum is going. It is a little harder to find time to set this up. I might trim, but not cut those completely. There's also something to be said of just putting this into play and trimming a path or two. Like, when some of those creatures like Atraxa hit play, it is just still quite bad for me. This is not fantastic. I don't mind having swords, but I don't really want that to be my primary plan. So hopefully I can punch a hole, buy some time, find half of the combo, get the other half with Beseech, and miraculously resolve my cards. Oh shit. That just immediately got forced. That is scary. Okay, it's not just Ancient Tomb Lotus Petal go off. Okay. This is, I suppose, both portions of the combo. That's a Fluster. That gets to counter my thing. There's a Ponder. So I would like to find Rest in Peace so that I can cast Helm. Or sorry, so that if my opponent casts Show and Tell, I can put in Helm and present a win without actually getting to 4 mana. Again, Surveil Land, good. Don't have one. Rip. Opponent's got a follow-up land, though. Yeah, I don't really want more than one of these effects in an entire game. But I'm also a deck with minimal manipulation, so having 6 of them is not the end of the world. There's Ancient Tomb. Alright, there's Show and Tell, so, like, this is very clearly what I'm doing. Opponent has Emrakul, and we're going to see if we can have Emrakul. It's also technically correct to Marsh Flats Crack prior to putting this into play, so that there's no stop where I do not have 2 mana. YOLO! X equals 2? Nothing. I get to untap and try again. Now it needs to be something like an Archon of Cruelty. You don't get to Swords to Plowshares Emrakul. Turns out when you pay 15 mana for a card, they give it protection from everything. Well, not literally everything, but, you know, a lot of things. Alright, that'll do. I'm going to get donked for 15, and then I am not literally dead, but effectively dead once these cards are out of play. We were drawing live there, but we have been slain. We're still going for the 4-1, though. Alrighty. This hand looks like a keep. I'm gonna play a Ghost Vacuum on turn 1, a Ketramose on turn 2. Hopefully not just get turn 1'd here. That would be sad. Oh, that's probably not killing me on turn 1. Yeah, I can even Bowmaster that, in fact. That might be a good use of my Dark Ritual. I don't know, I can just play Ghost Vacuum, leave it in play. I'm going to just grab a basic here and shove Ghost Vacuum. I don't think I need to use the Ritual immediately. There might be some short-term tension between wanting to send cards to exile for this and wanting to leave up Ghost Vacuum for that. Mishra's research desk. Absolutely. Ooh, no additional land here. That is a little rough for my opponent. Is it still Ketramose, or is it just Bowmaster and Douthie and take advantage of the fact that my opponent does not currently have mana? Ketramose whenever I draw a land. I think I will Ketramose whenever I draw a land. So Douthie, Bowmaster, Ping Welder. Alright, fantastic. We are powerfully on board. A Fury style card would be good against what I am doing, but otherwise, hopefully I'm just putting my opponent on a 4-turn clock while they are stumbling on mana. Ooh, they drew an Ancient Tomb. Ensnaring Bridge is a reasonable card here, but I just have a combo finish literally in hand, so I'm not actually sweating that right now. Fantastic. So, Saga, Ketramose. Opponent has 3 cards in hand, so these attacks are just getting in immediately. So this is 5 damage. Opponent goes to 13. I'll vacuum a land out of my graveyard to draw a card. Going to 18 to do so. That's fantastic, because all I want here is the mana to just get a Helm of Obedience win. And I probably get that mana pretty quickly. My opponent also might end up dealing a lot of damage to themselves with an Ancient Tomb. I can die to Painter Grindstone nonsense, kind of out of the middle of nowhere. I don't currently have any interaction for that. I could get a Goblin. No, Goblin Welder's not great for me right now, because I kind of junked my opponent's graveyard. Ooh, Fury. The opponent evokes Fury, which honestly, while it decreases my chance of winning the game via combat damage, it is just giving me more food for my Ghost Vacuum, which is appreciated. Trinosphere. Okay. So I am probably safe to just Ghost Vacuum one of my opponent's cards here. Just draw a card immediately. Bowmaster. I don't have Rip, so Marsh Flats is not drawing me a card. Do I just put Helm in play and assume that it kills my opponent at some point? That seems reasonable. That seems reasonable to just do. Because I'm on like 11 outs to instantly kill my opponent with Helm. Alright, opponent is chilling with 3 cards in hand. Let's Ghost Vacuum something now and just draw a card. Actually, no, I think I'm just like never making an Urza Saga Construct token. I'm just going to float, remove a card from my deck, and then draw a card with Ghost Vacuum. So let's get the booties. Send a Fury to exile to draw a card. See if we get something that results in my opponent dying, and we do. So fetch, grab Scrubland, cast with bargain, 1, 2, 3, 4, bargain away, lava spur boots, grab rest in peace. Oh shit! Whoops! Trinosphere! Which has been irrelevant this game so far. I'm an idiot. That's on me. Oh, but it goes to my hand anyway. This is fine. I kill my opponent next turn. 3 mana. Pyroblast. I respect it. Opponent is just trying to keep cards out of hand for Ensnaring Bridge purposes. Ooh. That's a hell of a drug there. That shuts off my Vault of Whispers too. We're going to have more of a game than I was expecting. Alright, Karn Tutors. It's really inconvenient that I don't have Lava Spur. Or no, it's not. It's an artifact for Karn. Also shuts off Ghost Vacuum inconveniently for me. Going for Liquimetal Coating. Sure. I could Thoughtseize that out of my opponent's hand, and then try to get them to lower Karn's loyalty to 1 and Bowmaster it. I think I like that. So, take Coating. Opponent has a Pyroblast that's kind of stuck there. I can also just Karn Plus on my Vault of Whispers. Is less good for me. So now, most of the time, my opponent can go Hellbent. meaning my Bowmaster is going to have a hard time attacking in at Karn for a kill. Let's ping that Karn past the turn. My opponent will just randomly Pyroblast one of my permanents. Karn pluses. Yeah. This is a problem. Not having a Pithing Needle, kind of annoying, as we've already talked about. So let's rest in peace. This is going to draw me some bonus cards, which may or may not end up actually doing things. Karn can keep plussing. There is a Spirit Guide. Swords is a card. I don't know quite what I am working towards right now in terms of winning this game. I guess I should take a look. It's like more Bowmasters getting coding again because it went to exile. All right. Sure. So my opponent can attempt to turn a land into something else here. My Urza Saga Construct tokens are just like not relevant for a very long time here. I think I'm still going to make it. It costs me 1 mana to make this. There's a path. So this Urza Saga is going to go away. I can get a Chrome Mox, draw a card. There's another Helm. Thoughtseize is not relevant anymore. Not that that does anything though, so I guess I will just hold it in hand. I'm going to concede here. I think I probably punted this one somewhere along the line. I'm not dead for like probably literally another 10 turns, but with my opponent having this much mana and Liquid Metal coding, I think the remainder of this game is just going to be miserable. I think I have enough graveyard coverage already, I think. White Orchid Phantom for opposing Urza Saga is fine. Leyline to speed up Helm combo is fine. White Orchid Phantom as something else to attack Karn is fine. Him for value is acceptable. I think I like messing with my opponent's lands, even though this makes me worse versus Fury. Karn is quite good against this deck. It stops this... Well, I guess it's specifically Karn plus Ensnaring Bridge, which Karn might be able to get. I think I'm going to play a Miser's Leyline over Hymn to Torok here. Hymn to Torok kind of leading into Bowmaster. Sorry, Ensnaring Bridge is not the best for me. This is an unexciting opening hand that I am probably just going to keep. Land, go. I've got Bowmaster for if my opponent leads on a Goblin Welder. Otherwise, I have Urza Saga Rest in Peace as my next play in all likelihood. Never mind, I don't want disappearing lands anymore. So I will just throw this down. Graveyards are no longer a thing. I would love to draw a Dark Ritual or a Chrome Mox. Oh, I am just going to die. That sucks. Nope, I am fully just dead. My opponent has the Soul Land and natural combo pieces. Yep, nothing to be done there. Sometimes you get got. That is now 2 losses. The bounty is dead, but I would say this league is still largely successful. Okay, this just does not have enough opening mana to be viable. This hand does not have a lot going on early, but tries to be a double Thoughtseize Urza Saga hand. I probably keep this getting rid of Dark Ritual, and if we Helm combo, it is relatively late in the game. I don't think we need to Dark Ritual double Thoughtseize on turn 1. Horizon Canopy and Green Sun. Alright, so something in the Maverick wheelhouse. The expected Dryad Arbor. Chrome Mox is not particularly potent here. I'm going to start off this game on basic lands, as my opponent is almost certainly... I don't know what either of those cards do. You make a token of some kind. Okay, so it's a 3 mana 5/5 that my opponent needs a 1/1 to attack. Or, what are you? Menace, Lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it. When you do, you pay 2, make a pest. Can I not see the backside of this? Multiple wastelands there. Okay. Legendary creature, human druid. Whenever you gain life, you may pay 1. If you do, put +1/+1 counters on your creatures, and they gain trample. Okay. So I'm going to take the Love Struck Beast, I think. And my opponent could cast this 1 mana thing if they want. There's a fetch. Alright, they do cast it. And I will take 1 from a Dryad Arbor. Dark Ritual. My opponent has 2 Wastelands, 1 unknown card. Always playing Plains. I think we're just good with 3, 4, Elm, and sometimes we top deck Douthie Voidwalker, in which case we have black plus activate, or we top deck Rest in Peace. Sheltered by Ghosts. Alright, well that was unexpected. I'll take 3. My lands are just going to eat it to Wasteland. I think I've bottomed out. I think there is a good chance I die to just 3 onboard power here. Yep. Cracking Horizon Canopy. I dislike that sequencing, I think. I think if you're going to do that, you crack Horizon Canopy first to see if you draw something that changes your mind about Wastelanding. Like if you draw a 2-mana play that you want to do afterwards, or a 3-mana play. Okay, there's Douthie. So I will Chrome Mox, imprint Thoughtseize to play Douthie, shove that into play, hold Urza Saga for if I draw Helm, then maybe I get 2. Durance goes to graveyard. Almost surprising. That's a decent sized body here. Anyway, if I hold this, maybe I get to use it for a mana to Helm at some point. The Wasteland can be used in response to Urza Saga trigger, though. Electro Oof in game 1. Attic Teague in game 1. Sure. That is a problem. Ghost Vacuum's not great here. Urza Saga just gets Wastelanded if I play it, so I don't play it. No bueno, though. No bueno. Not enough cards in exile for Ketramose to be online. Let's start eating lands from graveyard in case there's some Knight of the Reliquary type thing here. Yeah, we're chilling. I'm likely just dead. My opponent has played around a Bowmaster attack on previous turns. It's possible they could be conservative here and give me a little bit more time than they should give me. It is disastrous if this creature does die. And it is an X1. Alright, they're not being conservative this time. They have smelt blood. Is another sheltered by ghosts. Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable. Vacuuming lands. So I can remove one of these and die to the other, unfortunately. And pay for reward even. Alright, dead. We just ran out of stuff physically. My opponent has Gaddock Teague, which makes this stuff bad. I don't really know that I'm boarding it out. It seems kind of essential to my winning the game. Having a couple of random first strikers seems perfectly reasonable. If I had more removal, I would potentially bring in more removal for something like Collector Oof and Gaddock Teague. I think I am going down on those. I'll play one Hymn, one Leyline. It is unclear to me how much my opponent is using their graveyard because they're playing a strange build. Like some number of my permanents are just going to eat it to Sheltered by Ghosts. So having more things that represents the first half of the combo is maybe okay. Maybe. This has 3 white cards and no white mana. I am not into that. This could beseech on 1. The hand's probably a keep. It's just a little awkward. I'm putting back a Dark Ritual. And really hoping that Ketramose does heavy lifting on turn 2. I am going to awkwardly lead on Scrubland here so that I have Swords to Plowshares up for Dryad Arbor style cards on the first turn cycle. It makes Wasteland better against me. And it has happened, which is frustrating. Alright, there is a land drop. So I still have Ketramose on the next turn cycle. Okay, yeah, I mean, there's the sort of thing that I was trying to play around. Do I want 2 swords? I think slowing down my opponent is important enough that I just swords. That was maybe a mistake. That should have been a Scrubland. Yeah, that was a very bad mistake, in fact. So if I get Wastelanded, I get Wastelanded off a color. Whereas if I get... I guess if I get Scrub, it's still happening. Yeah, Swords to Plowshares. F. Indestructible does not help me there. I think we are now in a mid-game that I am very much not favored in. I could try to beseech for like another Ketramose. Never mind. Anyway, that Surveil land that I've been talking about all league. Really big deal. That is a green sun for X equals 2. This can be a Gaddock Teague. This can be a Collector Oof. Either one of them is just devastating. Yeah, so that shuts off Leyline Helm. That shuts off Beseech. This is very, very, very bad. That's off Lava Spur Boots. You got me. But if you just look at the life totals, I'm still winning. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. So we'll put 2 wins on the board, but we go negative with Ketramose yet again. All right. So overall thoughts on the deck list. Not bad. I would not be embarrassed to show up to an event playing this deck, if it was an FNM or something like that. Ultimately, in the context of Legacy, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze here, at least not in the ways that I have tried doing so. This feels like an up the beanstalk that is harder to set up because the cards that enable this to really pop off and be insane aren't particularly good. Like, if you are using this just with, like, Swords to Plowshares and Solitudes and cards that you would want to normally put in your deck, it is totally fine. So if for some reason you wanted to be playing, say, an Esper Control deck list, maybe you can reasonably play this. But as far as, like, making this a 4 of build around, the, like, blinky flicker type stuff didn't seem strong enough or consistent enough. And this rest in peace stuff was not coming out ahead in a lot of the matchups. The league started out strong, but we kind of just got in the second half. If you are in a very unhealthy graveyard-based metagame, maybe doing something like this is reasonable. And we are in a metagame where graveyard-centric strategies are quite popular. The deck list itself was a little rough around the edges. I missed the fact that there wasn't a Surveil land in the mana base until after I started recording. That one's on me. But this deck just physically needs more stuff in it. You could try this with the One Ring instead as an alternative to Ketramose. Maybe you give up on Helm of Obedience and you just try to be like One Ring, Ketramose, exile all of the shit control. I don't know. A lot of the ideas that I'm coming up with here are just like keeping the curve very much in this 3-4 drop slot, which is maybe not where you want to be as a Legacy deck. Maybe you can approach this differently and come up with something pretty cool. But ultimately, I think I am stumped on this card in the short term, at least as far as Legacy goes. And maybe someone else will find some cool tech. Maybe it'll be you. All right, folks, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. And if you need some cards, you know where to go. All right, see ya.